What's up everyone, this is Tom. I've had the Motorola Moto E in for a while now, and I've actually been playing around with it quite a bit. Motorola keeps pushing the boundaries on what is possible with a budget smartphone, so in this video I'm going to be talking about how it actually may have gone too far with the Motorola Moto E. So before we start, it's important that you're aware of a few things. The Moto E was released a few weeks ago and shocked most of the technology scene by claiming to be a very capable smartphone, but only costing $129 off contract, or around £80 here in the UK. Basically, it's an unbelievably cheap true smartphone compared to a few feature phones which come in at a somewhat comparable price range. So now let's talk a bit about the Moto E. It packs a 4.3-inch screen with a resolution of 540 by 960, that gives it a resulting pixel density of 256 pixels per inch. A few years ago this wouldn't have been a massive issue, but in the world of 1080p smartphones and higher, this display is really showing its lack of quality, very poor viewing angles and low resolution. Obviously you're not going to be comparing this to displays like the Samsung Galaxy S5, but if you've ever used a higher resolution phone, which is almost all 2013-2014 smartphones, you'll find it a little tricky to switch back to the display like the one found on the Moto E. Surprisingly, even though the baseline Moto E comes with 4GB of internal storage, there's an option to expand the storage via a micro SD card slot around the back of the phone. Sadly, no removable battery though. The camera on this phone borderline isn't even worth talking about. The 5-megapixel rear-facing shooter on the back of the phone is appropriate of the internet status, "What did you take this with, a potato or the Moto E?" It's useful for capturing something you need to share with a few friends, but that's about it. People are going to be questioning your right to an Instagram account if you shoot too long with this thing. So next let's talk about the speed. I actually did a video which went down really well with a lot of websites and people within the technology community, where I compared the speeds between the Moto E and the Samsung Galaxy S5. This particular video was more to demonstrate how bad Samsung software optimization is, and less to show potentially how fast the Moto E is. But the Moto E definitely isn't a slow phone. It's a very average Android phone. It performs okay, with stress on okay. You'll certainly hit spikes of lag, certain tasks such as gaming are laborious, and things like typing will occasionally become arduous and annoying for you. So now we come down to the brunt of the issue. The Moto E is a very average smartphone for an exceptional price. If your absolute maximum budget is around $130 for a smartphone, the Moto E is one of the only options you have, so it is a pretty safe bet. However, I am actually going to recommend a different phone, which Motorola only have themselves to blame for. A few of you guys may remember the Moto G, which I had a little while ago on my channel. This phone from Motorola costs around $179 off contract, so it's $50 more expensive. So it is understandably better than the Moto E in almost every way, shape or form. The difference here is that the Moto G is an exceptional smartphone for a fantastic price. The display with a 720p resolution was almost as good as an iPhone 5. As it was, I did a video comparing the Moto G to an iPhone 5, and it fared surprisingly well. Take what you will from this review. If you're totally and utterly strapped for cash, the Moto E will get you by for a few weeks or even a few months until you can upgrade your smartphone. I personally don't think I could use this phone every day for a year. If you can muster the extra $50 together to purchase the Motorola Moto G instead, you'll definitely be thanking yourself in 2 years' time when you still have a smartphone which is very capable and enjoyable to use. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review. I've kept this one quite frank, quite brief, and really opinion based. If you've never seen my stuff before and you like what I do, feel free to drop any opinions in the comments, maybe subscribe whilst you're down there. Apart from that guys, I will catch you next time.